Hey guys, Lemon02, currently drafting a core set M19 single elimination league. This is an interesting pack because I think it's an interesting pick between Volcanic Dragon and Lich's Caress. And it's actually kind of tighter than you'd think because, there are two playable green cards in this pack. There's really not a lot of good white. Actually, there's not a lot of good. This is a bad pack in general. There's only like two first pickable cards. I think it's Volcanic Dragon and Lich's Caress. And I'm not sure which I'd rather have. I think red tends to be more heavily drafted than black, and Lich's Caress is just, other than murder, like probably the second best, but at best at common premium removal. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. As far as white cards, I mean, we could take the Leonin Vanguard. It's a fine-ish card. Probably better than Cavalry Drillmaster in the right deck. I think I'm going to take Caress. There's not really another good black card in this pack. There's really another good red card as well, but I think it's Lich's Caress there. I kind of like that. And then we get past a Stonebreaker, a Giant, which would have gone well with the Dragon. Skymarch Bloodletter is also a good card. Aether Tunnel is fine. I like Divination to no small extent. The thing is, there's not a lot of other good black in this pack either, and we could possibly send a decent signal that black is closed off. I mean, there's an Aperture, which goes fine with the 1-drop, the Neonate. Siegebreaker, so the thing with Siegebreaker is this card initially impressed me quite a bit. It's very mana intensive, and being a 3 toughness creature is kind of a liability in this format due to the premium removal. And I do like Skymarch to no small extent. I think I'm going to take it. Alright, Nightmare's Thirst. Surgemare is another card I'm a very big fan of. But I think Nightmare's Thirst is where I'd rather be. I kind of, I could go into like a black-white deck. I'm going to try it out over Surgemare. I don't really want to jump into a second color. I think Nightmare's Thirst could be decent in a black-white life gain deck, and I already have 2 life gain cards. Not that Thirst plus Lich's Caress is really a combo. I mean, unless you're trying to wait till you get to 6 mana to do it. But it could be a combo with an off-curve Skymarch Bloodletter as well. I mean, it's just -2/-2 at that point. And, I think Surgemare is quite strong, but it could have been a pickup there. It probably was, to be honest, ourselves. All right, well, there's a Neonate. It's a very easy pickup in this pack. Isolate's not playable. Blanchwood Armor, I mean, it's playable, but I'm not a fan of that style of card. The green-white enchantments deck's a deck. Hired Blade will probably come back. Neonate's just a good card. Very impressive common, especially as a 1-drop. It blocks 2-drops pretty well, blocks some 3-drops. And then just randomly gains you incremental life over the course of a game. That's a pretty strong card. And now we have a good shell to go into like black-green if we get past some gold poison tip arrow archer, whatever that thing's called. The 2/3 reach death toucher that drains. Alright, the best cards here are either the Rabid Bite or the Gift of Paradise. I think so. The Gift of Paradise is an uncommon, but I think Ramp is bad in this format. I think I'm more prone to going towards a Rabid Bite. I think Hired Blade is a low enough quality card that I'd rather take the Rabid Bite because I think it's a very high quality common. It's just another removal spell. Obviously, you need to have creatures to make it work, so it's going to incentivize, black-green. But I don't think I mind going into black-green. And a Rabid Bite that late means green's probably open because this card is very strong. Or maybe I'm just overvaluing it, but I mean, it can get blown out by removal spells, but the removal spells are kind of expensive in this format unless you just have murders. Which would be a nice pickup. We're not going to get it this pack at this point. I mean, if someone got a murder, it's generally a first pickable card. Okay, Strangling Spores or another Neonate. I'm not really sure on this one. I think it's probably just Spores. But Neonate has impressed me a lot in this format. Black, I do think, is very open. ROC's Oracle's a fine card, too, but I don't think it's the pickup here. I think it's one of these two. I think I'm going to pick up the Spores. It is still instant speed removal. Another Rabid Bite? Yep, please. Yep. Now we need to get some creatures. I mean, I think picking up green creatures should be pretty easy, and I think this is going to be a pretty decent deck. I mean, we've got removal, and a couple things that gain life, to include one of our removal spells. So if we're playing against anything except for, like, patient rebuilding control, we should be okay. I think Colossal Dreadmaw or Rise from the Grave. This is an interesting pack. I think I actually like the Dreadmaw a little better than the Rise from the Grave here. I think it's going to be my pick. Fine card, combos well with Rabid Bite. Obviously, we'd like to get some Daggerback Basilisks for this style of deck, because we have 2 Rabid Bites so far. And they came really late, which to me means that green is going to be quite open. Here I think I'd prefer to have the better on-curve answer, like the answer card, not answer card, but the Centaur Courser. It combos well with Rabid Bite. 2-headed Zombie is not bad, but it dies to shock. Yeah, I'm going to pick it up. Alright, Bristling Boar is just fine. I mean, a Johnny's Welcome's good in the black-white life gain deck, but white looks like it's a little more closed off. Highland Game is probably what I'm going to take before my first Titanic growth. I don't really want to start it. I'll pick this thing up. Pick another one of these up. Yeah, over a Daybreak Chaplain. Submerged Boneyard in case we decide to go in another color. We could play this for now. I mean, I'll put it in my deck. So we have kind of weak creatures, but good removal. I mean, I guess Colossal Dreadmaw is a fine creature. But we have 2 Rabid Bites. Alright, the Encyclopedia is quite decent. I don't want the Enchantments card. Bogart Brute, I rarely ever see those cards in this draft format. Probably just a Skymarch Bloodletter. An Arcane Encyclopedia is fine. Maybe it's good enough in this style of deck. I think the Skymarch Bloodletter is just such a better card. We could possibly even wheel the Spider. I haven't been that impressed by the Arcane Encyclopedia in this format. Like, you have to be a really control. Like, blue-black control probably wants it, like, in mirror matches. Like, I would love it in mirror matches, but I think I'd rather just have a good playable card that wins the game for me. Demon of Catastrophes. Is it Bomb? Yep, that's a pretty easy pickup. I don't know why I always get this card. I always tend to get this card in draft. Alright, this is a little bit worse of a pack for us. It could just be a Gargoyle Sentinel because it blocks decently well. And it also works well with Rabid Bite. Child of Night's also a card I don't mind. Gear Per Guide, I think, will probably wheel more assuredly than this card will. ROC's Oracle is also decent. I think I'd rather have the possible flyer, though. Alright, Neonate or another Spores. I think I'm going to take another Spores. Alright, I think this is a pretty easy Doom Dissenter. I wouldn't mind having an Abnormal Endurance. Angel of Dawn this late's kind of interesting. But I need to get some cards that combo well with the Demon of Catastrophes. This is a card I'm always very happy to play. It's won me quite a few games in this draft format, and I think it's quite good. One of the issues we may run into is we need to up our creature count a bit, because we do have these 2 Rabid Bites that are kind of looking a little silly right now. Well, not looking silly, but they're not looking quite as good. I guess we can play the Highland game, so it does give us something else we can sack and kind of get a little bit of value off of with the Demon here. Alright, Luminous Bonds is probably the best card in this pack, followed up by Nightmare's Thirst and Skeleton Archer. Well, what do we have to gain life? We have the Highland Game, which we can have die in combat. I think it's probably another Nightmare's Thirst. I'm going to pick it up here. Alright, Macabre Waltz or the Boar. Or the Axe, even. The Axe is not a bad card. It's probably... Or even the Explosives. The Explosives, we have better removal than Explosives, though. How many flyers do I have? Of 1, 2, 3. 3 flyers. 4, possibly, with this thing. I'm going to pick up a Boar here, I think. Yeah. Ooh, Daggerback Basilisk this late's a great pickup. Another Shield Mare. That's the second one we could have picked up this draft. I'll pick up a Titanic Growth. I don't really want to put it in the deck yet, but could run that. So our creature suite is not extremely great. This is going to be a pretty easy to rest. Bone to Ash is a good card. It's a very powerful effect. Obviously, you need to get to a state of board parity or better. I actually like Child of Night, especially with 2 Nightmare's Thirsts. The value of Nightmare or Child of Night goes up when you have this many Nightmare's Thirsts, though. And it also doesn't combo out too badly with Rapid Bite because it does give you still the life link or the life gain from the fighting. Not the fight, actually it just does damage. So, what do I think of this deck so far? This deck actually seems pretty good. I mean, I think it's going to be a good deck. I've got... Oh, Neonate came around? Yeah. That's great. Essence Scatter that late's kind of shocking, too. Like, I think I could have had a good blue-black deck as well. But I think the Rapid Bites definitely incentivize going into green. Like, that card is really good. It's kind of like, you know, in some ways with the Daggerback Basilisk and some of the bigger dudes I've got, it's almost like Essence Scatter with, you know, it's Essence Scatter after a creature's already resolved, which in some ways is better, in some ways can be worse. All right, the old Bog Stomper. It's a much less lower quality card than Colossal Dreadmaw, but card that I could bring in. But obviously, not having Trample can be a liability. All right, we'll pick up a Smelt. Walls of Mist actually may be hard for this deck to deal with. I guess I have flyers. I have this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. So our creature count has gone up a bit. I am glad we picked up that Spores over the Neonate, especially after getting 2. I probably don't need more Neonates than 2. I could see playing 3 in certain decks, but this deck's not really all in on life gain. It just has it as kind of like an incremental way to abate racing. Alright, I don't think Gigantosaurus is what this deck wants, but there's some great cards. There's Lena, the Selfless, whatever this thing is. Selfless what? Selfless Champion. I don't think we can play Gigantosaurus. I just don't think that's a card that's going to work in this deck. It could be just a Druid of the Cowl. It blocks pretty well. You know, and it also ramps you. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Druid of the Cowl up. I think the card's very good. Rise from the Graves, also better in a deck that has a lot of removal. Probably wheel a Plummet, and I am not opposed to playing a Plummet main. So I don't think I want a third Nightmares Thirst. I think I'm going to pick up another one of these gentlemen. Because they actually also do sack well to the Demon of Catastrophes. I don't have a lot of good 2s like Doom Dissenters that I want to sack. We can take this guy on, I think. Oh, Resembling Skeleton is definitely a combo there. You know, for this deck, I think I would rather have Resembling Skeleton over Druid of the Cowl. I mean, I do have some ramp targets. But this is a great thing to sacrifice to the Demon of Catastrophes. And I think I'm going to be happier with it. And what are we cutting from this build? It could be a Bristling Boar. I mean, we have some cuts we need to make. It could be a Bristling Boar. I'm not, you know, I don't think it's that good of a card. And right now, possibly a Highland game, but I do want some good low drops to sack. Maybe a Centaur Courser. For right now, I think this is going to be a 17-lander. I don't think this deck could be a 16-lander. I mean, if we got, like, very lucky and got some, like, Greenwood Seers or whatever that card is called, Seekers, then maybe. Huh. Well. Am I ever going to play another Neonate in this deck? I mean, Neonate, if you get to 8 mana and you have all of them out, you can just drain the hell out of someone. And maybe it's Neonate. I mean, so, like, the question is, do I want another Neonator or I want an Elvish Rejuvenator? I mean, honestly, I think I don't think I can take Rejuvenator over this card. And I can get one anyways, if I want it. Ooh, well, Gravedigger is a card I'm going to play. Yeah, Macabre Waltz, a sideboard option I would definitely want. Fell Spectre, too? Wow. Yeah, pick it up. Mind Rot over Plummet, I think. I have enough kill spells. I don't really need a specified kill spell. Colossal Majesty is an interesting sideboard card. It works with, what, 1, 2, 3 of my cards. This is an interesting deck. Can probably cut this. Huh. Do I need all of these Nightmare Thirst? I probably don't need all of these. That puts me at 26. Pick up the rare. There's a chance we could play this in some decks. I mean, I guess I could take the other card because it works well with Nightmare's Thirst, and I have 3 of them. I do have a Titanic Growth. Yeah, sure, I'll just pick this up. I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to build this, actually. It's a kind of a first for me. Normally I know exactly how I want to build a deck. Huh. Do we need the boar? Probably not. I mean, go to 16 creatures, just have tons of removal. This puts us at 25 cards. Can I play a 16 land deck with this? I mean, it doesn't have a ton of really early drops. What is Rabid Bite working with? Like, I guess like the Daggerback, the Courser. 3 is a more important number than 2. We got a 2 Nightmare's Thirst. Could cut 1 Courser. This is 15 creatures with a resembling skeleton. I think this is how I want to look. Yeah, I think this will be better for us. I think we're going to try this out. Yeah, I think I like this. Alright, well, we're going to try to make this work. We can up the neonate count. I mean, 3 neonates, 4 neonates actually in this deck is pretty amazing. And like I said, Nightmare's Thirst actually works pretty well with it. I mean, if you can get a double activation into Nightmare's Thirst, and that's -3/-3, plus gain a life, gain 3 life effectively, because you've already Vampire neonated and kill something. It's pretty good value. Of note, this deck did not get like the best of like black-green cards. We didn't get the Poison Tip Archers, but we do have a Demon as well, which is strong. Alright, yeah, that's a good hand. We're going to keep this, and we're going to look to do a turn 2 Druid of the Cowl. And we'll leave up Nightmare's Thirst. If they cast like a 1-drop of some sort, like Goblin Motivator would be the 1-drop to Jour I could think of. That, or like, I guess, like, what is the Rustwing Falcon? I guess it's a card. Alright, go. But Motivator would be the card I could think of the most that would most often. Alright, they do have a Rustwing Falcon. Interesting. Alright, and we have the Druid. Do they have an enchantment for this? Okay, Pyromancer. Yep. I think I'm just going to play the Bloodletter here. We're going to hang back. I think we're going to have inevitability against this opponent. Okay, Bogart Brute. Well, we can do some wrecking this turn. Obviously, it'd be nicer if we drew a card. I'm not in a rush here to win. I think they're going to be in more of a rush than me. I'd like to hit my second Black Source so I can still drain and then kill something next turn. I can kill this Rustwing Falcon. I'm afraid they're going to enchant it up. If you're playing a Rustwing Falcon, it probably means you have enchantments. In Rabid Bite, obviously against a red-based deck with weenie creatures is not a card you typically want to use when they have untapped mana. Another Rustwing. I think we're going to attack here. No blocks. Well, we can leave up removal on their turn if they want to enchant one of these things, but I think if we're going to be trading attack steps, I think eventually I'm going to win with a Neonate down. Gonna take me to 16, but I'm gonna swing it back. Okie doke. I doubt they block here. They're going to, okay. Get spores. Okay. Shock. If they shock here, they obviously can't attack, and then shock my druid, but I mean, that's a 2-for-1 off their Vishinu, or the Vishinu Heretic, or whatever this thing is, Pyromancer. Heretic's the one that destroys artifacts, really old. So I guess they're debating if they want to use a shock here or not. Nope, and the decision they came to was no, they do not. So now I very much so think they have a shock, or at least they're trying to have that dialogue with me. Yep. Okay. Well, Demon of Catastrophe used to be a great draw here. We may see him start sacking off like the Pyromancers and stuff like that because they need to hit lands here. And they're not really going to break through on the ground. Alright, Bogar Brute, cool. Are they going to chump this turn? I wonder why they did not attack there. They could trade the Bogart Brute for a Druid of the Cowl here, if they'd like. And after, all of their Pegasus Coursers, their Bogart Brutes, Rustwing Falcons, and Oresco's Swift Claws, I mean, we're still at 19 life. Again, red-white does not really hold a candle to black-green. It's something I will always attest to. I've beaten it before with red-white, but it's not easy, and their card quality is way too low to do so, I think. I mean, if you're playing 2 Rustwing Falcons and Oresco's Swift Claws, those are not Those are the D grade cards, in my opinion. Like, Vishinu Pyromancer is a C grade card. Bogart Brute is a solid A minus. It's a solid one. Alright, they're going to sack this dude and see what they can find. Find a Pyromancer. Okay, well, you can play another Ground Pounder, but it's not really getting you anywhere. It's just damaging me incrementally and just gumming up the ground with a resembling skeleton on it. So, I mean, you probably just leave that in exile, will be my guess. I don't think it does enough here at all, but we'll see. They may play it out. Didn't notice my opponent's name, Colonel Stomp. I like that. Alright, Thud. Okay. Well, we're going to fly over. None of my critters are that good. So they're playing a Thud deck. That means they probably have some number of cards that steal my cards. Nightmare's Thirst. Another Neonate seems pretty good against them, I think. Better than what? Dreadmaw, probably not necessary. Their critters all look pretty small and not very good. I think I'd rather just have, like, you know, random blockers that gain me life incrementally over time. I mean, Neonate's what won me that game. I mean, yeah, I was attacking in the air and eventually won that way, but I think Neonate's what locked it up for me. This hand wants to hit lands, but doesn't need to hit a ton. Definitely wanted to hit land number 3 there. Okay, something's going to die. What will die? The flyer or the mana? Kills the flyer. Yep, get in there, you. Well, no one really wants to shock Gravedigger, but we'll see what happens here. They have a ton of mana this time. Okay, they're going to thud that thing. We'll get hit for 7. It's a lot. Nope. Oops. We'll play this out. Oh, do you have a Trumpet Blast? You start sacking their dudes. Yep. All right, well, that was a perfect draw. Pretty funny. I mean, if the game went for another turn, I think we won that. Maybe they had it in hand, though. I think we're still very favored. If we hit land there, I think we just overrun them. But we did not. I'm gonna submit. I think this is a well built plan against them. They just had a very good draw there. All right, this hand is great. This is a keeper. They do have Thud, so that could mean they have like an Active Treason, which Active Treason is very good against Demon of Catastrophe, so we need to be careful that way. But if they're running Lightning Axes, like I think I would have sideboarded that out if I were them. They need to actually acquire a way to get on board advantage. I mean, if they just didn't have the Dark Dweller there, we gain 2 and we're beyond range with their last card, and it's just game over. Because we are going to gain life over time with this deck. The technology is available in it, so. All right, need a go. Okay. Well, what have you got? You have Active Treason. Okay. If they have like Thud, Active Treason, they could get me pretty bad here. But I don't think I'm losing, even if they do that. It's just a bunch of cards down the tubes for them. Okay, Bogart Brute's fine. Hostile Minotaurs. They probably just concede here. I mean, like, how are you going to beat this? You need to have Active Treason, like Thud, and that's 12 damage, but it doesn't. That's only 12 damage, and I guess it's technically 11, because I can drain again. And if you're taking the hit here, then you're very close to just dead. Well, I have a lot of mana. And I've kept their board relatively clear of threats, so it's going to be tough for them to like do that, plus have like a pump effect for my threat, so when they thud it, they can damage me more with it and then thud me for more damage with it. And they're dead on the next turn. I mean, they need to block this thing or kill it right now. Okay, they're going to thud this thing. Cool. Takes 2. And then you have an Electrify as well. Like 3 for 1 yourself. Alright, Spit Flame. Cool. It's dead. The 3 for 1 has been accomplished. I'm willing to trade them here. I have a Nightmare's Thirst now, which is pretty epic level with 2 Neonates in play. They can trade and give me a 2/2. Yep, that's fine. I mean, they have some good cards. Spitflame's a good card, but yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you're going to beat black-green with that deck. That deck just looks like it's way too all-in. I mean, they got us in game 2. I mean, they just had basically the nut draw for their deck. I mean, you know, I don't care. I mean, sometimes you get lucky, but that was the nut. I mean, like, if the game went another turn, like, they just lose probably because I just, you know, gained some incremental life, and Lightning Axe is not going to work. Against most decks that run creatures, I think this list will be good. Now, against, like, you know, a heavy blue deck, I think it's going to have some more challenges. We're going to have to get a little faster off the gun. Because Neonate's not a fast way to kill. It's just a very assured way to kill against other, like, creature-based strategies. Especially some of the better creature-based strategies, which tend to be white. We have tons of removal, so that's always good. Alright, this hand's a keep. I mean, the Rapid Bite is kind of bad in it, but, I mean, it's got... You know, 2 Neonates. I'm going to keep this. Alright, Island. Alright, Gargoyle Sentinel is a good combo with Neonate. Just play a Neonate out. And if they just pass it with blue mana open, I'm just going to not play a Vampire Neonate into probably a pretty obvious Essence Scatter. Alright, they do not. The wall really doesn't matter that much to me, though. So here's the thing. Like, if I play out the Neonate this turn, I'm not going to be using either Neonate next turn. However, it means if I play it out this turn on turn 4, I can double activate Neonate. I think I'd rather just activate Neonate now. Enough's going to change in my draw steps. I don't see a point in playing it out. Okay, they got a Spores and a Swamp. Neonate. They could disperse this. They have Patient Rebuilding as well. No, just this silly thing. That thing's fine. Nope. I'll take the beat downs from the 5/5. Yep, that gets in there. Yep, get through. Do you have flyers is kind of the question. Alright, you do have a flyer. So, Land Slam Colossal Dreadmaw is looking a little more promising right now. No Maw, unfortunately. but a way to cast it next turn. Take 5. Let's see what else they have in their hand. Alright, Macabre Waltz and that. Yep. Get in there, you. Yep. You draw another flyer? Or did you draw Bupkiss? Disperse. Okay. And game. I've got you on tap for 2 right now. Cool. Alright, so double Psychic Corrosion deck. Well, unfortunately, I do not have Duress to deal with that. Could put an Infectious Horror in the deck. I mean, Infectious Horror does kind of get around the wall. Fell Spectre's good. I like Mind Rot a lot against this style of deck. Macabre Waltz, eh. So they have walls. Well, flyers are good against walls. Do I want Duress? I don't think I do. I think we just stick. I mean, unless they have Patient Rebuilding, I don't feel too nervous about this. But I mean, now I do kind of wish I had a Naturalize. I think you want one in this deck anyways. This hand is okay. You would like a 3-drop, ostensibly. Psychic Corrosion, go. Surge Mare, cool. Start fighting the card advantage fight. Okay, nothing. Alright, I'm going to leave up my kill spells right now, my Strangling Spores and my Nightmare's Thirst. If they're going to do nothing. They attack with the Mare. I think if they're going to do nothing, they're kind of boxed into having to do it. Okay. If they're going to try to sit back on counter spells, I'm just going to continue to accrue value here. I mean, I'm winning on board right now, technically. They have to do something before I do, I guess, is my point. They could use their mana to activate the Sentinel and try to block, and then I'll just kill it in response, you know, all that. But they have to do something. And if they attack with the Surge Mare, I will block, which will force them to put a lot of mana into it. Okay. I'm not gonna. This is like a game of like land still right now. Nope. Nice try. That actually is pretty good. Right here. Draw 3 cards. Ancestral Recall for 4 is not bad. I don't think I'd want to cast on the Demon here. I think more can go wrong. I think I just switcheroo the Demon and give me the Surge Mare, which does nothing for me. And Demon is a fast enough clock that it's probably worth worrying about. Like, impact the board is kind of what I'm going to play against them. I mean, they have these cool little combos, but... Okay. That's fine. It means you're probably going to tap out, right? And then discard a card and take 2 damage off the Fel Spectre. Seems good to me. Yep. Alright, Death by 1,000 Cuts. Just attrition them out. You need to play your 5-drop out. It's fine. I mean, this is what they needed to be doing before. I mean, I think they were trying to sit back on counter magic, and it's like, dude, you can play that game, but the other player is like not a you know, kind of an idiot. Like, I'm not going to just cast out stuff that I don't need to cast down. I mean, if I'm already winning on board, I'm going to let myself continue to win on board, especially against a deck that appears to be blue-black control. You know, splash red for who knows what, Banefire maybe. So what have you got? Alright, they're going to murder this poor soul. Alright. Okay. find a blocker. They have to invest 4 mana into the Surge Mare to kill this Neonate, right? Because it's +2, -2, so the first pump does not work. Okay. What do you Exclusion Mage here? This thing? Okay. Well, get killed. I still have lethal in the air, so how do you prevent lethal in the air? Could disperse my thing? Alright, deal with this first. This is lethal, so have your you'd probably have an Essence Scatter or a Cancel or something, but then, like, you're going to die to the... Alright, Bone Dash, fine, that's what they had. So that was the card they were sitting back on, and I think actually kind of lost them the game. Alright, get attacked for 1, die. Cool. Alright, well, interesting game. Maybe my opponent couldn't play it any other way, but I mean, it appeared they had threats. Like, I think they just needed to develop their board, because my board was beating them. Like, the Neonate, like, is a good board stall card. Like, that's just what it does. It just sits there and blocks well, and then drains them for 1, gains you 1. Even if they think they're in, like, a pseudo-race, it's very tough to race the card. Like, you kind of just have to either beat it with Overwhelming Force by, like, something like, you know, Demon, or the Demon I have, or something like that, you know? Maybe, like, the 5/5, but, like, even the 5/5 couldn't race in Game 1. So, at a minimum, we're going to go 2-1 with this deck. Hopefully, you know, we can fare well in this one, get a little lucky. So far, we've run pretty well. And black-green life gain, kind of been how it's played out, which is interesting, because normally you think of black-white when you think of this style of deck, but I think it works out okay in this deck as well. I mean, I think the Rabid Bites were kind of what incentivized it. Obviously, Rabid Bite is not as good with Neonate. This hand's good. It's good enough. On the draw, yeah. I mean, Mind Rot may or may not be good, depends on the matchup, but it's got a 1-drop into a 2-drop, and it's got 2 pieces of removal plus some hand disruption. I don't think you can say no to this. I mean, the worst draws in the deck are green cards. Like, Colossal Dreadmaw would be the utter worst draw. Best draw is probably just land for a little bit. Probably 2 Forest in a row would be not horrific. So I'm going to keep this. Alright, red again. You don't go. Child, go. If they attack here, I'm going to pretty much, I think, auto-assume they have a trick. I don't think I'm going to trade. I kind of want to use Nightmare's Thirst to trade for their Resco Swiftclaw. I guess it's going to scale well with time because of the Neonate and the Child of Night. I kind of want to Mind Rot them. I think it's better here, actually. I think taking more damage is fine. Yep. Play a Bogart Brute. Okay. Well, Nightmare's Thirst seems really good against their deck. Alright, more Swift Claws. Cool. Sounds good, my man. Just going to pass it here. Okay, old Rusty. Alright. Alright, play your combat trick. Yep. Okay. Chip away at him. Okay. Alright, they're just done. And I can't say I blame them. Alright, Nightmare's Thirst is great against this deck. I don't know if I want another Neonate. Colossal Dreadmaw is probably unnecessary. I feel like this is just going to generally be a good matchup for me. It's too bad there's not like a Golden Demise slash Infest type effect in this format. I guess there is Plague Mare. Plague Mare would just obliterate my opponent's deck. This has got to be close to the Nightmare matchup for my opponent. I mean, I have 1 mana removal that just deals with one toughness things. Got a bunch of Sky Marches. Got actually Resembling Skeleton is good against them too. It just blocks their nonsense. Two Strangling Spores probably kills almost everything in their deck. The Trumpet Blast was surprised into one. It's like, alright, yeah, you've obviously got Trumpet Blast or some sort of effect like that. Alright, this hand is marginal. I think I keep this, but I'm not excited about it. Alright, go ahead, my friend. Okay, tap land, cool. Oh, Doom Dissenter is also good against their deck. Yeah, I don't disagree with my opponent here. I'm probably going to crush him. Alright, Pegasus Courser is at least one that we will have a tougher time dealing with until we can get to mana. Alright, well, what else do we have? I could just have a big thing here. I mean, right now they're just trading 1 for 2 if they don't play more out on the board. If I draw a land, I probably just Spores the Pegasus Courser because it's one of the ways they can kind of get over the top of me. Alright, they have this thing, and what do they kill? Just kill that. Alright, cool. There's nothing they really want to kill here. Get Spores. I will gladly block with the Doom Dissenter if he attacks. Alright. Yeah, no, this is a pretty horrific beating. I mean, like, if you just draw land here, you're just going to miss. That's a free attack. I mean, if he wants to block with 2 of them, I think it's fine, because he's trying to Trumpet Blast me out, which is still not going to work. Yeah, they're just done. Anyways, 3-0 with Black-Green, a life gain, which is kind of interesting. We didn't have any of the archers, but the deck was pretty sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm going to put this one up so you guys can watch it. got to go 3-0 again in the single limb drafts. So, guys, going to take a break now. Hope you enjoyed it. And, yeah, get into M19. Pretty cool format. It's a core, so, I mean, it has a little bit less to explore. But as you can see, there's some interesting things you can do with all archetypes. I think RG doesn't tend to really, or black-green doesn't tend to be like the life gain deck. But I actually found like decent home, I think, outside of black-white for the Thirst. That Nightmare's Thirst. The card was actually very good in my deck. All right, guys, enjoy and take care.